Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry for the delay. We just had a bit of technical issues. Hi, Jackie.
Hi there, how are you?
I'm fine. Sorry, like we had some network interruptions that were unforeseen. Oh, wow, you're so beautiful.
Thanks.
Nice. Okay, that's Dura, our executive director.
Hi, Jackie. Hi, Toby.
Hello. How are you?
Hi, Oluwakemi.
Hi, good morning. Hi.
Hi, everyone. It's so good to see you. Thank you
Yes.
so kindly for accepting our invite today. I'm really, really looking forward to an exciting session with the ladies here today.
Yeah.
Yes,
Thank you.
Okay, Chada will be joining us a bit late. She has a meeting that is ongoing right now, and she'll join us in 30 minutes time. So please, we could just start. Jackie, I don't know if you saw my email. You're muted, Jackie.
Sorry, I didn't. Which email do you mean?
Oh, about Chada. She has a meeting and she'll be joining in 30 minutes.
Okay. No, I didn't see that, but thank you. So, okay, she'll be in time for the panel though. That starts at 4:15.
Yeah, she'll be in time for the panel. So just a briefing. We'll start with the opening remarks. We'll start at 4 o'clock with an opening remark, and then Dora would, give the welcome address, executive director. Then I'll read out your bio. Jackie's bio will be the last bio that I'll read. And then I will now usher you into the panel session. And after that, we'll play a video and I'll come back again, go to the Women Techsters programs and the announcements. In 2 hours, we'll be done.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Hi, Toby.
Hello. Hi, how you doing?
Fine. So how would you prefer to be called, addressed during the call for Jackie?
Toby.
Toby.
Yeah.
Toby?
Yeah.
I am going to put a virtual background on, so apologies for... I'm just looking quickly for one. Toby, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Okay. So we could just, turn off our videos, and once it's time, once I start reading out your bios, you could then, turn it on. That's
okay, perfect.
Okay, thank you. Chigozie, I don't know if you can hear me. Can you permit me to share? Okay, yeah, no, I can now. Thank you. Please confirm that you can hear. Chigozie, could you hear the video, the sound from the video?
I can hear it.
Okay then, yeah, thanks.
I can no longer hear you.
How about now?
No.
Can you hear now?
No.
Did you hear?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I'll stop sharing and reshare again.
Okay.
My name is Fatima Ahmed. I'm from Ilorin, Kwara State. I studied chemistry from the University of Ilorin, but now I'm a woman in tech. Getting a job in Nigeria is very difficult. After my National Youth Service program, I was at home for like 5 to 6 months, writing CVs, applying for jobs, and the highest I got was callbacks, which was very frustrating. I was talking to a friend about the difficulties of getting a job in Nigeria, and he was telling me about the opportunities in tech. Coincidentally, at that time, another friend of mine was telling me about how she went to the Nigerian Women Techsters program, where she learned how to code and build websites. Seeing what she could do, I was motivated to apply for the Nigerian Women Techsters program. The training was for 12 weeks. I learned technical skills, building websites, writing codes. I also learned soft skills, communicating effectively, working in teams. It made me more effective in what I do today. Coming for the training, I just felt that, okay, I'll just learn some new skills, then have to go back home to apply for other jobs. But during the training, I started getting a lot of job opportunities, and here I am today. I have a good job, and I am glad I took the bold step to come for the Nigerian Women Techsters training. I currently work as a technical support engineer at Tech Experts, where I provide cloud-based solutions. I want to use this opportunity to encourage other young women out there who are looking for jobs to empower themselves with tech skills and take advantage of opportunities like this.
With partners like Microsoft, we've been able to train over 2,475 women in coding and deep tech skills across 12 states in Nigeria. And all this training was done for free. Over the next 10 years, we will train 5 million women across Africa by 2030. And we're looking for partners who could join us on this journey.
Okay. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Women Techsters Open Day event. This is our 10th edition. Yeah, we've been doing this like for 10, and this is the 10th time we've been doing this, and 10 consecutive time. And we are so happy that you decided to leave everything else and join this event today. So I'll go right into it. And please drop a chat in the chat session. Let's know where you're joining us from. If you're from Nigeria, if you're from Ghana, Egypt, South Africa, just put it in the chat. And so we know where you're joining us from. I'm waiting to read out the locations we have right now on the call. Faith from Nigeria, Kasachiku from Nigeria, Mpumi Namo from South Africa. Hello, hi South Africa today, Osas from Nigeria. Shout out to you all and thanks for joining the event. Fatma from Egypt. How is Egypt today? Yeah. Okay. Ifeoluwa from Nigeria. Keep it coming. I'll be reading it. Felicia from Nigeria, from Lagos. How is Lagos State today? You're all welcome to the Open Day event. We've been doing this for 10 times now, and this is the 10th. You know, 10 is a special number, and we're really happy, you know, that you took out the time to come join us today. It really means a lot to us. The Open Day event is organized by Tech for Dev. We're a non-profit organization. Hi, Tulani, South Africa. See you. We're resident in Nigeria here, and we are focusing on, you know, using technology to tackle unemployment and foster financial freedom in Africa. We have several programs that seek to create access to decent work and entrepreneurship opportunities and platforms for Africa through digital skills empowerment and advocacy. One of which is the Women Techsters Initiative, and is our flagship program. And the sole aim of the Women Techsters Initiative is to bridge the gap between men and women in the tech space. We want to ensure that more women have access to tech roles, to the opportunities out there, because they're actually very vast, but we've noticed that there's an imbalance and is a very wide gap, and we can't do it on our own. And that's why we have these beautiful women on this call join us to help us, and help tell you how you're able to scale through and, advise you on what you do, what you can do better to bridge the gap and to, maximize this opportunity. Okay, so as we go further into the event, tweet your nuggets, whatever you hear, use the hashtag Women Techsters Open Day. We'll be dropping it on the chat session very soon. So you see the hashtag to use, Women Techsters Open Day, hashtag Women Techsters Open Day. And, just drop your key points on the chat, on your social media handles, and tag us at Tech for Dev, and be sure that we'll repost your tags. Okay, so at this moment, before we go further into the event, I just want to do a little bit of a countdown to this, how we got here, and just talk about the speakers that we've had from previous Open Day, and just to give you a bit of a background. So we started our Open Day event this year in January. We started with one in Nigeria, and we had Daisy. She was the speaker invited for the Open Day session, and she spoke about her career in tech. And after January, we then decided to go into other countries. We invited women from different countries. So Adeze was a speaker for the Open Day in January. Then in February, we had Confidence Stavely, founder and executive director of CyberSafe Foundation. I'm just kind of doing a shout out to them. Shout out to Confidence. She featured in February. We also had June Siowa, the CEO and founder of Bailey's Kenya, and Jessica Ogiren, data science analytics and consultant, and she's the co-founder of Data Tech Space Nigeria. Shout out to Marisa Kuri, the head of data at RCS Group Cape Town. Oluwatoyin Sani, AI researcher at University of Lincoln. She's also featured in our Open Day event. We had Olatomiwa Williams, the country director for Microsoft Nigeria. Lizette Pagenberg, head of design at DVT. Mona Saleh Joy B, Rama El Safti, Debbie Bashiran. We've also had Simi Ogundawale. We've had Tukozo Yende. I can't there's no time to really call out, to read their profile, but these women are great women. We had Mena, Mustafa Esa, Maha Ali, Sweetie Anna, Glebogang, Madise. We've also featured Lilian Bernard, the CEO of Microsoft South Africa. We have Nikaise Mtiwe, software engineer. Unati Swala, she was a moderator for the Open Day September. Roina Ocheng, Oluwatobi Otokisi. So many women that have, dedicated their time to share their stories. And if you want to, watch these recaps or the past Open Day events, they're available on our YouTube channel at Tech for Dev. Today, we'll be having 4 special women on this call. They're actually on the call right now, share their stories. They include Judy Ngure, Oluwatomi Ogunshino, Oluwakemi Adeleke, Chada El Islam, Manil, and Jackie Cornadi, and they're ready to wow you with their stories. So as we go further into the event, I would love to invite Executive Director Oladure Oladipo, and she'll be wowing you with her welcome address, and then we'll go on. Hi, Dura.
Hi, Joy. I'm not exactly sure about if there's a wowing process, but I mean, it's so good to be here today. I would say a warm welcome to everyone, and I would say thank you so much for joining our 10th edition of our virtual Women Techsters Open Day program. As Joy had earlier said, we started out our Open Day early this year in January, and this is the 10th edition that we're having. We've had many spectacular and amazing women who have come through the event or the day from January to now. And like she said as well, is that we have 5 amazing women here today who will be sharing their experiences with us. We're super elated to have all the wonderful women on the call who are attendees join us from across Africa to learn about how to pursue all your interests in technology. So I'll start by saying that Tech for Dev is a non-profit organization that creates access to decent work and entrepreneurship opportunities and platforms for Africans through digital skills empowerment and advocacy. Our mission is to equip Africans with digital and life skills that foster economic prosperity, financial freedom, and sustainable development. The Women Techsters program, which is one of the reasons why we're here, is an initiative of Tech for Dev in partnership with Microsoft that aims to bridge the digital divide between men and women in the technology ecosystem. Through our pilot program, the Nigerian Women Techsters, we have enabled we enabled at that point in time almost 3,000 women between the ages of 16 to 40 across Nigeria. And the hope was to ignite their interest in pursuing careers and businesses in technology. Driven by the success story of numerous women on the program, we carved a new ambition. And this ambition was our dream to replicate this model across Africa, providing more women access to opportunities to launch their careers in technology. Our dream by 2030 is to reach 5 million women in Africa by empowering them with the knowledge and skills to partake in the technology industry in Africa and the world at large. We believe that empowering change for women across Africa, as well as providing them opportunities to access employment and entrepreneurship, will help to achieve a 50-50 male to female ratio within the technology space and ecosystem. The Women Techsters Open Day is a monthly virtual program organized for women across Africa to learn about leveraging the power of technology to start and advance their careers, and also create technology and technology-enabled businesses. The Open Day is an opportunity for women to interact with other successful women who have built careers or businesses in technology over the years, and who will share their personal experiences like we're gonna have today, speak about possible career paths and business opportunities, and help women appreciate the importance of acquiring digital and deep tech skills in this digital age. I would like to say that we appreciate Microsoft. Microsoft has literally been the most amazing partner ever in collaborating with us to bring this initiative to life. And we look forward to impacting and improving the economic realities of women across Africa. Once again, I would like to appreciate everyone for being here today. Thank you so much for being here. And as you commence your journey to becoming women in tech, I would really also like to appreciate all our wonderful speakers for sparing time out of their very and extremely busy schedules, I can understand, to be here. So Chada, Judy, Toby, and Oluwakemi, thank you very much for being here today. And I'm definitely not leaving behind our most amazing moderator, Jackie. I would say thank you all guys for being here today. And I look forward to a most wonderful and fruitful conversation. Thank you, and over to you, Joy.
Thank you very much, Duwira. Yeah, I also have my glasses on. So in case you're just joining us, that's Oladuri Oladipo. She's the Executive Director at Tech for Dev, and I have my glasses on because I'm going to be reading the bios of these beautiful ladies that we have on the call. So I'll start out by reading out the bio of Oluwakemi Adeleke. She's a product designer at SIJ Global Limited, California. She's very passionate about product design. Her passion for creating amazing products has led her to work with some of the industry-leading companies around the world. She currently mentors and grows the next generation of product designers while working full-time with SIJ Global Limited, California, a cryptocurrency company. So I want you to wave at everyone, Kemi. Great. Yeah, so I'm moving over to the bio of Toby Ogunshina. She's a senior product manager at Government Digital Services in the UK. She has a background in design. She has 10 years of experience working in the tech industry. She has spent 6 of those years managing digital products in the private and public sectors. She currently works at Government Digital Service, where she leads a publishing service team that makes it easier for government departments to publish effective content on gov.uk, the trusted source of UK government information used by millions of people every day. While at Government Digital Service, she has also worked at the Digital Marketplace, a platform that helps the public sector buy what it needs to build good services, and on gov.uk, accessibility. She certainly won the Women in Tech Excellence Award as the 2021 Rising Star of the Year, Public Sector and Universities, for her work to make gov.uk more accessible. She enjoys teaching product management skills and techniques and has been a lead educator on the Introduction to Product Management course for civil servants. Toby is a graduate of Lancaster University and Obafemi Awolowo University. Hi, Toby.
Hello.
Great. So Judy Ngure is a senior cybersecurity engineer at Sendi Limited, Kenya. She specializes in application security. She's a founder of Kazo, a company that focuses on multi-factor authentication for businesses. She has been a practitioner in the cybersecurity space for the past 3 years plus and has achieved a lot in that arena. She's a huge advocate for women in the cyberspace, pushing the agenda to have women in the cybersecurity space through the Women of Security chapter in Kenya. Judy has been nominated and won awards in the work she does in advocating for women in the cyberspace. Hello, Judy. Great. Okay, so next we have Senior Product Manager for Emission Management Software at Baka, which is none other than Chada El Islam Manel. She'll be joining us shortly. She's a Senior Product Manager for Emission Management Software and the co-founder and managing director at Entrog Startup Incubator. She has over 13 years of youth activism and community engagement, 6 years of professional experience at energy multinational companies, and over 5 years, I was going to say 50 years, and over 5 years of experience with startups. Chada works hard to empower and enable the communities around her and mentoring young entrepreneurs, women in STEM, and aspiring tech enthusiasts around the Arab world. She has recently been named among the 100 Arab female heroes in volunteering by BBC, named as a Distinguished Alumni of the Year in the Arab world by MEPI, Middle East US Partnership Initiative, and also the most influential young personality in Algeria for 2020 by Spanova magazine. Chada has graduated top class from the American University in Cairo with a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science and Business Administration, along with several other academic and professional certificates in leadership, business, community development, and diversity and inclusion from Colorado University, Indiana University, University of Nevada, Reno, the American University of Beirut, and Duke University. Like, she's well-read and well-experienced. She currently serves at the board of several organizations empowering young women and girls in tech and energy to shine in their paths forward. So be ready to shine. Starting from within her company, she's empowering over 1,000 female employees while serving as the regional leader for Corporate Women Network at Baker Hughes. Moreover, Chada sits on the board of Industry Advisory Council for Higher Colleges of Technology in the UAE as an industry consultant. She also serves on the board of Society of Petroleum Engineers in Algeria and UAE, as well as the Arab Women in Computing Organization and the Corporate Connecting Women in Technology Group. She's also the co-leader of Lean In Dubai Women in Tech, a member of the Global Women in Product Society, and also a Stanford University Ambassador for Women in Data Science. Well, that's not all about Chada. She's not just all work, and academia. She has traveled to nearly 30 countries around the world. She enjoys hiking, volunteering, and immersing herself in life adventures and connecting with people and the world. To bring all these women to speak and share their experiences, we'll be having Jackie as the moderator. Jackie Conradi is the moderator, and I'll be reading out her bio in a minute. So interestingly, we have these 4 women with their different experiences coming together in one event, to share their stories. So it's going to be fun. So yeah, I'll be reading out Jackie's bio now. Okay.
There somewhere.
Okay, I found it. So Jackie was extremely shy as a child. Maybe because her bio is very special. It was written specially for this event. That's why it took me a while to load. Okay, so pay good attention. She was extremely shy as a child and her school career fairly mediocre. She never quite succeeded at fitting in. She didn't know what to study when she left school, so picked the career that her co-aunt was in, which turned out to be a bad fit. The men in her family were always lauded as being very smart, but at least she wasn't bad to look at. Maybe she would marry well. Her family was crushed when she ended up not marrying her childhood sweetheart at age 26 because the clock was ticking. But you know what they say about judging a book by its cover? 15 years later, and Jackie is passionate about liberating digital technologies to create economic access for women as a previously disadvantaged group, driving sustainable economic growth for the African continent. She works at Microsoft Middle East and Africa as a channel enterprise sales manager, supporting Microsoft ecosystem of technology partners to empower every person and every organization to achieve more. Prior to joining Microsoft, she has worked at Deloitte Africa for 13 years, where she found her passion for business consulting and digital transformation. Jackie also worked as a chief marketing officer in the tech space, having studied part-time for 7 years to attain a business communication, as well as training as an art director at the AAA School of Advertising. Her checkered experience has been diverse, but following her instincts about what feels purposeful and authentic has never failed in pointing Jackie in the right direction. Jackie's motto is fall down 7 times, get up 8 times. Hi, Jackie. Your bio was a tough one to get because it's really special. Thank you. So I'm handing over to you now to anchor the session.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Joy, and thanks for a wonderful introduction. I really enjoyed the story about what Tech for Africa is about, and I'm trying to not feel intimidated by the amazing list of women that you've had as guests, and by the women on the panel that I'm moderating.
Oh, Jackie. Hi, Jackie. There's a bit of glitch from your speaker. I don't know if, yeah, try speaking now. Yeah, better now.
Is this a little bit better?
Yes.
Okay. So thanks so much for the introduction about Tech for Africa. And as I said, I'm going to try not to feel intimidated by the long list of incredibly successful women that you've had on this platform already, and by the 4 ladies that are going to be on the panel this afternoon that I'm going to be moderating. I did want to mention that what is very important is, and I see we've got about 56 attendees on now, is that if you do have a question, I'm going to try without the headphones. Yeah.
Better?
Yeah, loud and clear. Yeah,
okay.
Let's do this.
The reason I'm using headphones is because my son's bedroom is behind me, so I wasn't sure if I'm going to be hearing yelling halfway through the panel discussion, but you'll excuse me if that happens. So very importantly, if you are an attendee and you'd like to ask a question, please put that in the Q&A box. I'll be watching those throughout the session and picking out particular questions that I think would be of value to the majority of the attendees. Also, if you would like to ask a question to a specific speaker, please just call that out in your question as well. So, I mean, an amazing set of talents we have here, and as far as I know, Shada is joining us in about 10 minutes' time, right? Shada's not on the call yet. Yeah.
Yeah. You could just go ahead now.
Okay. All right. So, Kemi, I think let's maybe start with you. You are based in California. Very exciting. So first of all, let us know what time it is there. And I can see it's a different time to the time that it is here. And then if you could just share with us a little bit about the story of your career and how you started off or got to where you are as a product designer right now.
Okay. Hi everyone. Good morning. It's just past 9 a.m. It's 9:22 over here. So good morning, everyone. My name is Kemi Adeleke. I'm a designer at SIJ Global Limited in California, United States. How did I start my journey? My journey started in 2019. Yeah, in middle 2019. Then I was a customer service personnel. But, in life, we all have our goals in life and what you really want for your life, right? So I've been working as a customer service personnel. I think I was working then for, 3 to 4 years, but I wasn't getting any satisfaction apart from the money, right? Apart from the money, I wasn't getting that fulfillment that I'm doing something meaningful in my life. So I decided to transition into tech due to my love for digital solutions. I actually like computers. I like playing with computers. I just like typing, right? So that was why I decided to transition into tech. And my journey started from being a front-end developer. Yeah, so I learned the basic concept of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And I was practicing as a front-end developer, right, before I even actually fell in love with design. And at the point I saw that, okay, I think I'm loving design. I tried to do some things, and I had to make a decision between picking design or front-end development, right? Then I actually enjoyed working as a front-end developer. I love it. I love coding. I mean, I can stay 18 hours on my laptop on VS Code, just coding, building something. That is how much I love coding. But I realized that design was more of a passion, right? I was coding there for maybe money, right? Just I needed money, right? But design was more of a passion. So I decided to take design over coding. So I left coding, and I had to concentrate fully on being a product designer. And since then, that was also 2019. And since then, it's been an awesome ride, right? I've interned as an intern, right? And I've also worked as a full-time staff and also on contract basis. And right now I'm working full-time, right? So for me, my journey into product design was something of like, I would say, yeah, money pushed me into it because I needed something that's more fulfilling than what I was earning then, right? But along the line, passion kept me. Yeah, passion kept me. And that is what has been giving me the urge to actually do more, to influence others, to impact others positively, right? Yeah, so that is my journey in a nutshell.
Awesome, awesome, and I love that you're so honest about what got you into into dev. I've certainly made decisions around money and status in my life, and I think we can all relate when you said it possibly didn't align to what was authentic to you and what your passion was. And I think it's so brave to be able to take a step in a direction of your passion, especially so early on in your career. I think that's incredibly wise. And tell us a little bit about product design and why it's different to coding.
Okay, so product design, I actually enjoyed, or I decided to go with product design because someone who loves solving problems. I actually love to solve problems, and I like colors. I love beautiful things. I'm more of a fashion person than a logical, like calculating 2 + 2 and 3 + 3. Right, coding has to do more with your with logic, right? Like the mathematical background, and I am not that much of a mathematical person. Like I really do not love calculation that much to that extent. But I realized that design is part of it because I love beautiful things. I love colors. I love playing with colors. Even in my life as a person, I would say I love flashy things, but I love things that actually shines. I mean, I love something that attracts. When I see something like, oh, wow, this thing is beautiful. So I love something that attracts. And I see that design UI, was more of it, like it's attracts people. You need to create something that attracts, play with colors, play with fonts, things that would actually, like from scratch, shapes and colors. So I decided to like, okay, I think this is more of my kind of person. This deals more with my personality than coding.
Yeah, cool. That's a great distinction to make. And I think for any of the attendees that know, whether they prefer a much more analytical role or if they prefer something a little bit more creative, it's nice to kind of get an idea of which roles fit into those different areas. Fantastic. Thanks. So Toby, you are also in product, not design particularly, but you're a product manager. Could you tell us a little bit about your journey of your career so far, how you got into tech, how you got into being a product manager? I think it's one of the most exciting career opportunities available, or roles available, and also a little bit about what a product manager is.
Okay, going way back, I think I actually studied electronic and electrical engineering in school in the university, but quite early on, I I realized I didn't really want to pursue a career in that, even though it was quite it's quite a broad course, so you can do so many things. But I think I didn't have enough exposure to what that life would be like. So I started getting really interested in design. I had a friend who was a designer, and I used to look at the things that he did and thought, that's interesting, I could do that. So I asked him about it. He told me some of the tools he used, and I sort of started trying to learn how to do that. So there was a lot of, I was still in the university, there was a lot of learning to, looking for online tutorials, trying to understand CorelDRAW, for anybody who knows what CorelDRAW is, and how to sort of design with that. And really teaching myself, watching how-to videos, and started like a sort of like a side gig in school as a sort of freelance designer. So I did that for a while. And at some point, one of my friends said, could you build a website for me? And I'm like, oh, I don't know how to do that. And started looking into HTML, CSS, bit of JavaScript, and learning that. So just as I got out of school, a friend of mine who knew I did that, they were looking for a designer, and someone who knew a bit of web design and user interface design at their organization. So I got an internship to do that. So I was basically learning on the job, getting better at it, doing a lot of online tutorial, doing like freelance. So there was a lot of, basically, I have a learning mindset. So there was a lot of trying to practice as much as possible, trying to learn as much as possible that was happening there. So I did a lot of learning, and for quite a while, I was working as a designer, designing a range of things. And at some point, I think at that time, I didn't really pay enough attention to the design community as a whole. I didn't really know designers outside of the ones I worked directly with. So I think that impacted my interest a bit. So I went to do a master's in information technology management. And then one of the courses we did was around analysis and design, but it talked a lot about product management and user-centered design and building things in an agile way. And I got really interested in that. So that was quite a life-changing experience. So after my master's, I started looking for jobs in product management and sort of pitched the idea of product management to the organization I was working with before at the time. So I pitched the idea and talked about product management and the importance of it and all of that. And I got hired as their first product manager. And I can't say I knew exactly what I was doing. I was literally just learning on the job at the time, sort of trying to learn and improve and working on the product and wearing many hats, which was quite a good opportunity for me because it really helped me learn a lot in kind of like a startup-like space. And yeah, so after that, it gave me quite good experience as a product manager. And that was what I was able to leverage into getting the role that I have now. So I joined GDS as an associate product manager. And since then, I've been able to sort of develop my skills and sort of grow to a senior product manager now. So in terms of what a product manager does, what a product manager does is really just you could say it's a strategy role. What you're doing is focusing on value and trying to ensure that you're building the right thing for users and creating shared understanding with your team and helping the team sort of build something that delivers value for a user. So I always say that the main things you do as a product manager is really set direction, make sure that the team is building the right product for the user and they have a shared understanding of what they're trying to build and why. And then your job is also to prioritize to make sure that it's the most important and the most valuable work and that you're maximizing the value that is being delivered for the user and for the business, and also working with the team to sort of deliver that value and measure that impact. So that's like the summary of the things that a product manager does. But basically you're managing products, and products can be anything that delivers value to a group of people or to users, and you're sort of managing the process for creating that, for supporting that, for improving that, or retiring that if needed. So that's a summary of what a product manager does generally.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you're getting a lot of love in the chat. I just have to let you know. Everyone thinks you're amazing. I wanted to ask, what are the, and I love that you have this growth mindset and this learning mindset. I think that's an absolute key to success in any field, but especially in tech, because it is so dynamic and changes so much and so often. From your experience, what would you say are the kind of skills that you really focused on learning in order to be able to break into product management, or however many skills you want to mention, but the top ones?
Okay, so I think what I want to say first is that you have to recognize that you already have valuable skills, because you don't necessarily need to be a technical person necessarily to be a product manager. So a lot of skills that are needed in technical roles are transferable from other roles. So things, for example, like having empathy and being able to focus on the user is a very valuable skill for product managers. Things like being good at analysis, being good at communication, having a strategic mindset, and being able to think strategically. Those are all really good skills for a product manager to have. And you don't have to be technical or have a technical background in order to sort of have those skills. So they are dependent, whatever your role is now, whatever your job you already do, I'm sure there are ways that you can demonstrate those things or highlight them as transferable. So that's the first thing. The second thing, I suppose, is some of the other skills that you need to particularly look at developing. So if I look at if I look at the things that you have to do, so thinking about user focus, for example, you need to sort of understand how to do user research, how to sort of talk to users, how to understand their need, take back that feedback, analyze it, and design sort of experiments around that. So that's quite important to do. You need to be able to sort of set direction for the team. So also understanding what's happening in the industry, in the market, a bit of market research, doing a bit of competitive analysis, designing business model, and sort of like understanding what agile product development is. And there are a lot of ways to sort of learn that just by reading things online or sort of trying to sort of practice some of those. So that's another thing. Looking at how to sort of create shared understanding. That's mostly communication, both spoken and written communication, being a good storyteller and trying to sort of bring people around a vision or a goal. That's really important. Then there's also like road mapping. So being able to sort of develop a clear roadmap for how you want to get from where you had to sort of achieve the goal, having a clear roadmap around that, and working with a team to build that, understanding different prioritization techniques and, when to use which prioritization technique is also sort of a good skill. Some more basic skills like being able to sort of write stories or things from a user's perspective also is quite key. I think sort of generally also being able to work well in a team, being able to sort of identify different, being able to, having set a clear goal, being able to sort of know how to measure success and sort of set metrics and KPIs around that are all quite important skills. So as you can probably tell, none of them are like particularly technical in that sense, because product management is quite a generalist role where you're essentially working with a lot of specialists. You need to be able to understand their language, you need to be able to communicate with them and sort of pull all that information in to sort of set a clear direction.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks. That was a really comprehensive answer. I really appreciate that. Some really nice questions coming in on the Q&A box now. Just a reminder to everyone that we do have time for Q&A after the panel discussion. So if your question doesn't come up, I will, make sure that we get through as many questions as possible at the end of the panel discussion. So Judy, and just welcome to Shada. I see Shada's joined us. Welcome, Shada. Judy, just to move to you, we really are switching gear now. Cybersecurity is and engineering is something that very, very few people know anything about, never mind, you know, a particular group of people. But I know the statistics on the amount of women in cybersecurity is especially low. So if you would tell us a little bit about your journey into tech, and then a little bit about how cybersecurity caught your interest and how you got involved there.
Thanks, Jackie. Thanks to my prior panelists as well. Very, very impressed with the work you guys are doing. So to start with my journey, I think we've all come from like the finding some similarities in the story where we've all started from some coding background. I did the same as well. I started as a full stack developer. I used to work with the UN and as an intern, but you know, the UN volunteer, they call them the UNVs, that's the UN volunteers. And that's where I used to do a lot of coding. But then one day my boss, my immediate line manager was the security expert, and it just made me realize I didn't understand what I was writing down, you know, especially when it comes to security, especially on a product that's going to be used globally, and that was a problem. So he was doing his normal security auditing, and they just brought down the website I just created, and my job was just to bring it back up, find out where the problem was, and try and find the solution and fix it before the following morning. So I spent around 72 hours trying to figure out what he did. I didn't sleep. But then that actually sparked my curiosity. Yeah, it's not funny. It's funny now. It wasn't funny then. 72 hours straight up, no sleeping, just trying to bring everything back online. It was interesting then when I realized I'm actually spent 72 hours on a site trying to figure out security. And it's always that something you find very interesting, that you don't get tired of doing it and you want to keep probing more and more. And that's when I realized I actually do have interest in it. And, the journey wasn't easy because security was just starting to get into the country with a lot of digital transformation in Africa. So products are not being built. We were not big on social media. You know, we were still doing the traditional money transfer, cash on, you know, we didn't have those apps. So security wasn't such a big thing. So I did still end up doing a lot of development. I was a developer after school. That was 2017, 2018. I was still a developer. And when I got my way into security, when I got my big break, that's actually, I tell people I haven't actually interviewed for a security job, like normal interviewing. It's usually a session like this or a meetup where I go meet people and like, oh, wow, you guys, I would love to come in. And they're like, okay, Judy, we've seen what you've done. You've shown us something in regards to threat analysis. We'd like you to do this for us in a company. I checked my CV last week and realized the last update I did was on dev work. And I haven't done anything in security. And that's because it becomes more about what you can do, the value you can bring to the company, as opposed to the, certifications or the classes you've attended. And that's a good way to go, I'd say, because people are more focused on the value you can bring. And this was actually taught to me by a mentor who said it's more in tech right now, especially when people are trying to understand what tech can bring to the business. It's more about the value you can bring to the company as opposed to the number of certifications or, master's degrees you've done. There are opportunities and professional roles that require this, but in the space like you are in, it's okay to get you through the door, but it will actually keep you into the company. It will not do that here. So my journey has been very interesting, very, very interesting. And anyone who knows me knows I'm very proactive when it comes to cybersecurity. I've been around Africa, even as much as I just finished the other day, I've been around Africa to just see what women are doing in the tech space. And, as Jackie had mentioned, this is before you meet the next woman from Judy, the next woman in security, you have to walk miles and miles to actually meet somebody in security. And that's we are trying to understand why that is, because it's a very interesting field to be in, very lucrative, it's a bit demanding, and but if you like a challenge like me, this will be a very interesting area to be in. Yeah. I don't know if I answered all the questions.
No, that was great. That was great. And I'm just taking notes about what I'm seeing as similarities between all the journeys, because there definitely are similarities coming through. And it's so interesting what you say about adding value to the business, to the organization, rather than, it's not about your certificates or your piece of paper or any of that stuff. And I know that that's something that really worried me massively in the beginning of my career. I didn't have a degree, and I was really concerned that would hold me back. But actually, at the end of the day, the skills that I use on a daily basis, I didn't get from my degree. It's stuff that mostly that I've learned on the job in consulting, because consulting is such a great place to start. It really gives you the ins and outs of a business, and that if you're solving those business challenges on a daily basis, when you're in a job, people don't ask you what certificates you have. Getting the job maybe requires some of those things, but it's about solving business challenges on a daily basis, and understanding what the business challenge is with regards to your role and how it aligns to the organization's strategy. So very cool. Thanks, Judy. A question came up about challenges, and I'm very interested to hear what you think your biggest challenges have been so far in terms of being a woman in cybersecurity, or a woman in technology.
So I'd say, being a woman itself is can work for you or against you, depending on how you actually approach it. But ideally, the biggest challenge we are all facing in cybersecurity, especially in Africa, is the fact that the landscape for cybersecurity is, at the minimal. So it's just picking up. So you have to pick up with it. So, when it comes to things like development is there. We can see, a lot of investment is going into development. You can see, businesses are building, products. You can see all that. But then cybersecurity is not there yet. So you will rarely hear something big about security. And that's because the landscape, or, it hasn't as picked up. The maturity level is at, a 1, that it should be at a 5. So we all face that challenge, where you have to explain, you have to start from the bare minimum and say, this is how security is. If you ask anybody about security, the first thing that hits them is, hackers. And and you have to start explaining how this entity that has been blacklisted is beneficial to you as a business. But then you don't have to come and tell a business why they need to build a product that connects them to their users. They come to you with that. So we're still all facing that issue where we have to explain and start from the bare minimum. But then once you get in, you also now start to feel overwhelmed. So I think that's where I am now at this point, where it's a lot more overwhelming, because now people want you to do this. 20, 30 people want to do this, but then the skill set becomes a problem. So now you end up facing, different levels of problem depending on where you are in the tech space. But as a woman, I would say, gender-based problems, I wouldn't say they're those that are limiting me to do what I do. If you can show, yes, I will have to show you what I can do before you give me the job. That's fine. But then, maybe for a guy, it's a different, I know somebody who knows somebody, he can do this, so just give him the job. And that's fine. It's a competitive area, but when you get your hands in there, you gotta, I think there's a book, act like something, think like something. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, so I think this is the one thing that applies everywhere. Act like a woman, think like a man. Oh, there. By Steve Harvey. And it's the same, like when you get in, just get in, do what you need to do to make sure, you know, it doesn't trickle down to the fact that you're a woman, or it doesn't trickle down to the fact that you're a man. It's the fact that you bring value to the company, and they don't even see the fact that you're a woman or a man. They're like, okay, so now Judy can do this, give that to Judy. I'm not sure about anybody else, but when I hear my boss or my bosses are like, talk to Judy about that, makes me feel really good. And I go and I'm like, oh yeah, so I need more money, but you know, it's a leverage.
Yeah.
So that's, yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So I mean, what you mentioned is so true, and it's something, and you know, I hate to generalize, especially when we're talking about gender kind of issues, because not everyone is the same. Not all women are the same. Not all men are the same. So it's difficult to talk about these generalizations. But generally speaking, women are not as keen to kind of you know, ask for permission, ask for forgiveness rather than permission. So I know in my career, I've always, you know, underplayed my skill or underplayed myself quite a lot. And where I've seen male colleagues kind of saying, sure, I can do that, you know, and thinking I'll learn on the job, like I'll figure it out. And I think that's something that women can do a lot more of. Realize that they can fake it till they make it. Not with like crazy, like, oh yeah, I'm a doctor, but you know, just putting themselves out there a little bit more, and trusting that they will pick up the skills, the additional skills that they need on the job, and really faking it till they make it. You know, I think that's something that has really paid off in dividends for me in the last couple of years of my career, is accepting things, just putting my hand up for things that I don't know 100% that I can do them, but trusting that I'll figure it out.
100%.
So yeah, I see that definitely in your experience, which is very cool. So Shada, I see you've joined us. Shada's got a similar role to Toby. Shada, you're a product manager, senior product manager, but in a different industry, and a really topical industry right now. You know, clean energy. You're in emissions. You work on products that are digital products, emissions management software, and obviously with the conversations around climate change, carbon credits, all of those types of things. And you're in a digital role, you really are at the cutting edge of kind of what's happening in the world. So we're really excited to have you on the call. You also have a really robust and diverse portfolio of things that you're involved with and things that you're doing. Tell us a little bit about your background and your journey, and how you've found yourself in the role of senior product manager.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Jackie. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, actually, to Tech4Dev for the invitation as well, and for the great panelists and the great minds, ladies. Actually, I was listening earlier to their stories. I'm very happy to be with all of you today, as well as the participants that actually we're having with us in here today. As you mentioned, my name is Shada. I'm very glad to be here with you today. I am, as of now, senior manager or senior products manager for the emissions management software, as you mentioned, where we really look into how we can build digital capabilities and software to reduce the emissions that are coming up from the manufacturing side. And how I got into that is a long journey, I would say, in the product management field, where 6 years of experience that actually got me into here. I think, as she mentioned, Judy actually was mentioning earlier that we all started as a developer. So it's really important to kind of like have that technical depth or technical kind of actually at least exposure, right? That you get, whether it's in university or right after the university. It will help you a lot in your career afterwards, whether you decide to go to cybersecurity or products management, whatever field really in technology, it will help you actually get in there. So I graduated from computer science and business administration. I always had that passion for actually being an engineer, and at the same time really relating it back to business. So I would say both of these, I found them really great in kind of like studying both in that. That was my first encounter, I would say, with product management. studying computer science and business administration in the American University in Cairo, in Egypt. And then I moved to the US for Colorado University in Boulder to have an exchange time. And then from there, I joined a leadership program, one of the professional leadership programs that actually General Electric had, and it's one of the known ones actually in technology, for 2 years. And this is a program where the graduate would have the ability to rotate between different teams in different areas in the globe and really get the chance to know more about the company, know more about the technologies, know more about the team and how everything functions. So this program was really key in my professional journey, I would say, to really to decide first on what actually works best for me, but also to really see how the corporate world really works. So again, this is another opportunity that I would advise all the ladies if actually they got the chance to get into the professional leadership programs, where you get an accelerated learning to boost your positioning in the professional career in that aspect. I finished the 2 years program. I joined a digital customer experience team in Dubai for our company in Baker Hughes. So I worked for some time basically on products management for supply chain. Specifically, it started with e-commerce, and then from e-commerce to supply chain, and then from supply chain to emission management, all the way on the products. And you will see that actually there is a little bit of tightness in there, where really e-commerce would actually help us to understand what the customer wants, and then from what the customer wants, getting back to supply chain and see how we are really providing this to the customer. And then at the end, how are we really from both internal and external side, can we really actually have an impact on environment and make actually this process also sustainable as in there. Throughout this journey, I found it really helpful to get involved in a lot of women communities, something that's actually like this, like Tech for Dev. I was basically with a lot of other communities, Arab Women in Computing, Lean In, so many communities. So I really think that the power of community is very, very strong and very essential in pushing ladies who would want to actually really make an impact in tech in general, I would say. That's a little bit about myself.
Awesome, very cool. And you are obviously a really learned individual. I am very interested to know how you achieved balance with all of the learning, the academic pursuits, and your professional certifications, and holding down a full-time job, and goodness knows what other responsibilities you have. How do you find that you're able to achieve that balance, and do you have any tips?
Absolutely. I think that's a very important question, definitely, which is important for all of us to kind of like really, as you go through the path or through the way, to really have this in mind, that actually you need to balance. So first, it's actually the first point I would say is that you need to have in your mind that it's important, your body is important, your mental health is important, your family is important. All of these are as important as your achievements. So it's not like, let me just like, run, and then forget about all of this. And then here you go, all of a sudden you have a breakdown or you have something like that. So it's really important that from the very beginning, you put in your mind that I need to balance it out. Life is not only just about like, really doing this and being the first and the top in here and then everything. Before that, thankfully, I had this realization really early on, I would say, before I started even my professional career. I got a full scholarship in my university. And while I was working on that, full scholarship, I wanted to keep the scholarship, obviously. So I was working really hard in terms of my academics. And at the same time, the scholarship itself really asks me, or actually entitles me, to do a lot of activities and student club activities. So I started from the very beginning. I started kind of like, I need to balance it out now from my academia and my student clubs. How am I going to do that? And this is where really my journey started, I would say, with like, with time management and with the need of balancing off whatever I need. And in the beginning, it was really hard. I mean, it was really hard. I'm like, in 5 student clubs, I have a full schedule for like academia. I studied 2 majors, computer science and business administration. How am I going to do this? God. So really, actually, the starting point was hard, and it needed me to train my muscle, right? My muscle of balancing off, and the muscle of like time management and priority management, especially priority management, I would call it, was very essential to start training it very early on. And thankfully, thank God, the first year, yes, I found some problems. Second year was better. Third year was way better. Fourth year, I graduated top of my class and president of like so many other clubs. So I was already in student government, and it was stuff like that. So I got it. I got the hint, I would say, in that aspect, which was really about priority management. I wouldn't call it time management, but I call it priority management. At a certain time, in a certain context, this would be, your priority would be X, but at a certain time, in another context, your priority would be A and would be B, something else. So it really is important for you to understand what are your priorities at a certain time, at a certain level of your career. What is your priority at a certain time in your life? What is the priority at certain phase even of like the day? For now, the time is basically, I don't know, it's the time for getting back to home and having that tea with my family before everyone goes back. I need to make it. I need to be home before 6 p.m. just to make that tea time with the family, and then I can do something else. So it's really important to kind of like, prioritize what is important for everyone. And please, from now on, start calling it priority management rather than time management. Time, everyone is having 24 hours. But really, what we're being smart about, we're being smart in how we prioritize. That's actually really what makes the difference, I would say. And thankfully, as I mentioned, for me, I got that muscle trained in my university, and thanks to my university and thanks to my scholarship office, I would say, it was very easy when I came into my career to really make sure that the first 2 years I'm learning, I'm doing my certifications, I'm knowing more from the people. The first 2 years in my career, it's important to build the network. I was really focusing on building my network in tech industry. Who are the people that I need? Later on, I started being a little bit picky in my network, I would say. When I was in mid-level management, now I'm really needing people who would be mentors in very specific areas, right? Not just a tech mentor, for example. Now I am building a career in products management. So I do need mentors to be very specified in that aspect, for example. And then so on, later on, I would need actually some mentors who are executive levels to just how do I really get into the C level, I would say, C level of companies, and so on and so forth, right? Priorities change, the way you deal with them change, the way your needs as a person actually also do change. So again, it's really important to know how to prioritize, make sure that every priority in your life is having that level of importance and that level of attention, and also be flexible, right? You need to be flexible, and this is another muscle you need to train as well, which is the acceptance. You accepting that this now is a priority, tomorrow is not going to be a priority. So you really need to be actually very, very aware and conscious about the flexibility portion of it as well. So that would be my tips in that aspect.
Yeah, awesome, thanks. And I'm gonna steal that, priority management. It is absolutely critical. I mean, I will not focus on more than 2 or 3 things at a time at work, because strategy, coming from a strategy consulting background, I know that strategy actually more than anything is about choosing what you're not going to do. So that focus and having those 2 or 3 things that you're going to be, absolutely brutally focused about is just so critical for success in every part of your life. So I really love that. I know that you are particularly interested in debunking myths and misconceptions about women in tech. So I'm going to read this question because it's a really nice question. I don't want to get it wrong. As part of your contribution in empowering young women and girls in tech, with over 13 years of youth activism and community engagement, I mean, I'm just blown away by everything that you do. What have you identified as the common misconceptions women have about, so what women have about working in tech and how best we can combat those misconceptions.
Thank you, Jackie. I think, again, this is one of the very main questions and answers that I would like to address actually here, which is the misconceptions. A lot of stuff, or a lot of sayings, and I would say a lot of inputs actually are being now seen coming within the tech field, coming from women. Not only that, but actually even we're seeing a lot of female leaders, that amazing female leaders actually in place, really doing some awesome stuff in there. So what I would like to say, and I would like to, from the experience that I got, like, you know, whenever we're doing actually mentoring girls, and as you mentioned, like, you know, whenever I go in there, the first thing that I see, that I mention or that I see from the girls is that, oh, is that possible? Like, is that possible to be where you are? I mean, to just like travel and stuff. So really, actually, what they need more is that they need more role models. And they need not only role models, but actually to tell the stories about that, to really actually do exactly what we're doing right now, having everyone from, I don't know, from cyber, from product, from a lot of stuff, just to tell the world, here's actually what, you know, some amazing ladies and some women are doing out there, is exactly what a lot of these early young ladies would need in starting their career. That's one. So the misconception is that, the first misconception is that basically that they don't know that this is possible even. It's too hard, it's too technical, it's too deep for girls. So it's not possible. The second misconception is, obviously, and knowing us all coming from Africa and Middle East, I think we have a little bit of kind of like social misconception about it also, stuff about basically, do you really need to kind of like be always in male-dominated industry? Myself being in the energy industry, it's even actually more, I would say, male-dominated. So technology aspect and energy aspect, both of them would kind of like make it a little bit in there. But what I really want to highlight again here, Jackie, is it's not about just the belief or the misconceptions or hearing the misconceptions, whether we're talking about basically social norms or we're talking about abilities or something. It's really the fact, all of these misconceptions, I really believe that most of the time are actually just being here engraved in the minds of the ladies or the women themselves, that they are actually completely not true when they speak them out. A lot of times what happens, for example, currently when I'm dealing with actually our female employees or something, they tell you, or they come with some concerns and some fears. When they speak them out to their other male colleagues will be very surprised. They will be like, oh, really? I did not mean that. For example, I mean, it happens from time to time, is that basically that they would tell them, oh, by the way, when you said this specific word or example, I didn't much appreciate it. And for me, it meant this and this and this. It meant basically X and Y and Z. For the male, once they speak it out, for the male colleague, it will be surprised. It will be like, what, really? Did you actually took it that way? That's not what I absolutely meant it. So it's very important to not be a prison of our own thoughts. That's what I would say. And the women tend to do
that's the whole sentence.
Sorry?
I said you spot on there. I think that's one of the biggest issues that people in general have.
Exactly, absolutely. And this is exactly what I always like. And I find it a very common issue with all actually the ladies. I mean, most of, I wouldn't generalize here myself also, I'm not gonna do that, but it's really important. It's really important not to be a prisoner of our own thoughts. If there is something that's actually, you know, you feel like it's hindering your advancement, or it's basically, it's hard in the beginning. Yes, you're gonna find a lot, but speak it out. It's important to speak it out. And it's important to speak it out with whom you are comfortable with, of course, but find someone who's you are comfortable with, you can share with your concerns, your mentor, whether actually within the same place, the same company or the same school or outside of it, but please do share it out, do speak it out, because only then is when you are able to filter out your own misconceptions most of the time, and your own thoughts which you have inside, which could be 100% or 80% most of the time not true. the moment you speak them out with someone, you discuss them with someone, you would know that this is actually only in presenting of your thoughts. So it's really important. I think one practice that I would advise in here is to first be conscious again about the fact that you're not a prisoner of your own thoughts. And the second thing is to speak it out as much as you can. Yes, I am very aware that this is going to be hard, not easy to everyone to speak about their concerns or their fears, especially if you are in a corporate environment. But this is why exactly ERGs are there, employee resource groups, everyone is basically your managers, your staff, who are going to help you out with those stuff. So again, in terms of misconceptions, most of the misconceptions, Jackie, I personally believe that they are self-misconceptions put in there. If you are able to fight your own thoughts internally, a lot of syndromes, basically post-term syndromes and all of that, if you're able to fight those internally, you will be able to fight them externally. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Awesome, thanks, Shada. And we've spoken a lot about learning and the type of learning that you would need to do from school and kind of progressing. But I've seen a couple of the questions coming through, and I actually want to read some of the stats that I found on the internet from the studies from PwC and McKinsey. We obviously have a problem with equipping the workforce with women in tech, which starts at school. So we have a dearth of young girls who don't feel confident enough, or for other reasons are not studying STEM subjects. So in South Africa particularly, and I found these stats earlier on, South Africa, girls in STEM are underrepresented to a large degree. In ICT and tech, we have five boys studying those subjects. You have two girls. In maths and statistics, you have 5 boys, you have 4 girls. In engineering, manufacturing, and construction, even less of a representation, 10 men to 3 women. So we have a lot fewer kind of, of the school leaving women going into to study at tertiary institutions, and then obviously going into the workforce. And that translates into, this stat, women currently hold 19% of tech-related jobs at the top 10 global tech companies, relative to men at 81%. I mean, that's the statistics just kind of snowball from a small gap in school that's still relevant to just snowballing out of control when we get into senior management levels. And I see here PwC said, if we close the gender gap in representation and pay by only 10%, South Africa could enjoy 3.2% in a GDP growth and a 6.5% reduction in the number of unemployed job seekers, and also help to alleviate poverty. I mean, it's clearly something that needs to be addressed, and I certainly know it's the most important thing that I can do with my time. But what we haven't spoken about is people who want to switch career kind of mid-career, right? So we've talked about you guys who clearly have a talent from an early age, and you studied coding, and you've kind of known you've always, wanted to be in this industry. What about people, and I've seen a couple of questions come through, what about people that want to do a mid-career switch? How do they switch from a traditional career to a tech-related role? And I think, Kemi, I'm gonna spring on you, because we haven't heard you speak for a while, and also you made the switch from coder to designer. So how did you do that? What was your thought process and the steps that you took?
Okay, thank you, Jackie. So like I said earlier, I was working as a customer service personnel with a company in Lagos before I decided to move into tech. So the step I took was the fact that first off, I made a decision. That is actually very important, making a decision. I made a decision that I am not doing this. This is what I want to do. And I stick by that decision. That is the first step. So the second step is setting a goal. At that point, I really do not know much about tech. I didn't know the difference between development, design, management, product management, and all. But I set a goal for myself that in 6 months, this is what I want to do. This is where I want to be in this industry, in this career, right? Because I know I was new, so I had to limit the goal setting to 6 months, not 1 year, so I can see if it's really something that actually it's my reality, right? So first off, I made a decision. Secondly, I set a goal for myself. And the third step after setting that goal is to actually take strategic actions in achieving those goals that you've set. I would say I'm a self-taught designer, right? I started learning HTML, CSS, and JavaScript on my own from YouTube. To tell anyone listening now that YouTube is actually a great platform. It is a university where you can learn anything at all. You can learn anything, and you can become anything with YouTube without having to go to a tech school, without having to go to a design school. You can learn anything on YouTube, and you can become a pro. So YouTube taught me the basics of content development, right? And I was taking action. I had a goal already. I created a note on my phone to list down what I actually want to become or what I want to achieve in the industry in 6 months. So I took strategic action towards achieving those goals. I started learning from YouTube, the strategic actions. I started learning from YouTube. I made friends with people in tech already. I had a friend then. He's still my friend, so let me not use art. He's still my friend. Then he was working with Andela. Andela is a software company in Lagos. He was a senior software engineer in Andela, and I told him of my interest in tech. So he said, no problem. So he actually told me the things I needed to learn: HTML, download VS Code. He told me I had to download VS Code. I had to do this. I had to write my first Hello World and all. So I started making friends with people that are in the industry, like people that are good, people that are working already, that can actually guide me, that can hold my hands. Do you get? So the first thing, I made a decision. The second thing, I set a goal. The third step, I actually made strategic action towards achieving those goals. The first step, I made friends with people in the industry, because making friends with them actually helped me in knowing what I wanted to do. And when I got stuck while I was learning front-end development, it was always there to listen. It was always there to assist. It was always there to guide me through, to explain to me. Then as a learner, right, as a tech newbie, I would be stuck with probably CSS. My code will have a bug, or we have bugs, and I'll have to run to him at times midnight, yeah. I would text him, like, and thank God he's a software engineer, so he doesn't sleep too. So I would text him at midnight, Samuel, I'm stuck. Oh, I don't know what happens to this code. This code is not working. My on the front side is not working. So it's okay. Now go to so page on YouTube. Check this. Go to your developer tool. This is how you do it. So making friends with him and being his friend actually assisted me in knowing those things quickly, right? As I was learning on my own, I was also getting nuggets from him, trying to learn from him and how he does it, and he was there assisting me. So you need to make friends with people that are in the industry, right? And the next one, I actually got myself a mentor. If you're transitioning into tech from a non-technical background, you need a mentor. Like, it is really, really important. And the person that should be your mentor is someone committed to your goals. Remember, you're coming from a place where you don't really know anything about this industry. So you need someone who is committed, like a senior in the industry, or a director, the art director, design director, someone who is committed to your growth, who will be happy to see you grow, who will be happy to see you move from phase A to phase B or phase C or phase D, right? So you need a mentor. That's having a mentor, that point can never be overemphasized. You need to get a mentor, because a mentor will really assist you. The mentor will, after you've even set a goal for yourself, you need to even let your mentor know, okay, this is what I want to learn. These are the things I want to learn. Are these things feasible? Because the person in the industry already knows that, okay, these are the things you should learn. These are the in-demand skills. These are the things you need to know about before getting a job, right? So those are the steps I took. And having a mentor has always been a blessing. I mean, I got a mentor at the early stage of my career, and it has really been a blessing to me, even till now. My mentor is also based in the United States. And so it has really been a blessing to me even till now. So those are the steps you need to take. If you're coming from a non-technical background, if you're coming from a traditional career into a technical role, you need to take these steps, most especially setting a goal, because most people just want to be a designer without having a goal, without having goals to achieve, or without giving themselves ultimatum, like in the next 6 months, this is where I want to be. So setting that goal and making strategic actions, taking strategic actions towards achieving those goals are really, really important, because they helped me. And I'm sure it will also help anyone who actually take all the steps that I actually mentioned. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. I love that approach. And the just decide. That for me was the most important thing that you said. Just decide. That a lot of people just don't do that. So thanks, Kimmy. So we're just going to do a quick round. I'm going to get everyone to just give us 1 or 2 sentences of what you'd really love everyone to take away from this panel. And then we're going to go over to questions and just answer any of the questions that are still outstanding. So Kimmy, if there's 1 or 2 things that you'd like to just close off with before we go to questions.
Okay. Are you saying I should answer questions?
Sorry?
I didn't get that.
You didn't? Okay. So are you happy to, sure, you're getting a lot of love in the chat, I have to say. We're going to do 1 or 2 closing kind of ideas, 1 or 2 things that you want to leave everyone with before we go over to questions. We're going to do a round robin quickly. Yeah.
Okay, so for everyone coming from a non-technical background, getting confused, because I was at that point where I was also confused, where I don't know what to do. So I can actually relate, and I'm telling you here that I am a testimony to the fact that you can make a decision at a very important phase of your life, and that decision would actually be part of you, and it would yield great interest. Yeah, let me put that way. It would yield great interest. So as you're starting out, please do not chase salary. I am begging you. This is not an advice. This is like I am pleading. As you're starting out, do not chase salary, because when you're chasing salary, you actually lose focus. You lose focus on your goals. You need to let your passion drive you. Your passion should direct you. So many people ask me, like, Kemi, you're just 2 years and you're no longer in Nigeria. Like, you're now working, like, you're now a multinational designer. How did you do it with just 2 years experience? So I told them that, yeah, the urge to make money drove me into tech, but passion kept me in design. That passion actually kept me in design. So that is it. You need to let passion drive you. Don't chase salary. You need to let passion drive you. Pick something you truly love and do whatever it takes to get your foot in the door. That is I would call that an advice, but I am begging you to not chase salary. But now I'm advising you to pick something you truly love. If you feel coding is what you truly love, what you want to do it, and do whatever it takes to get your foot in the door. If you feel product design is what you really want to do, you love to solve problems, you love to make user research, you love to make research, you love to conduct user testing, do it. Be a good product designer, be good at that field, and do whatever it takes to get your foot in the door, right? And if you want to be a product manager, trust me, you have every right to become a great product manager. There are actually thousands of millions of jobs for people who want to drive into product management. And I actually love product management, though I love designing too, but I love product management because it's like more like a leadership role. You get to work with different kinds of people. You get to work with different kinds of egg. You collaborate with them, you hear from them. So I love product management too, even as a designer. So if you want to be a product manager, trust me, you can be whatever you want to be, but pick whatever truly excites you, whatever you know you love doing, pick it in this tech field and make sure you do whatever it takes to get your feet at the door. And trust me, the sky is just the starting point. I can tell you that.
Thank you, Kemi. That's incredibly inspiring. I know you've inspired so many people on the call. Toby, any closing remarks before we go over to questions?
Yes, I suppose one of the things is nobody really wakes up as an expert or becomes really great at something suddenly. You have to deliberately practice, like Kemia said, identify the things that you need to do and try to do those things. There's a quote I like that says, it's a lifetime of deliberate practice that ends up explaining excellence. Excellence doesn't really happen by chance. So think about the actions that you're taking now or the things that you need to do. Try not to focus too much on seeing immediate results, but as long as every day you're doing something to move you towards that goal, those actions, those habits are very important. So like trying to identify those actions and doing them is very important. The other thing I wanted to talk about was communities. There are lots of different communities for different things. For people who need to get into product management, for people who are already product managers, for people looking to get into tech in different ways. So try to find a community that works. Tech for Women Techsters is one, for example. Try to find a community that works for you and be embedded in that community. You will learn a lot. You will build your network, and all those things are really important to sort of get you to the next step. And the last thing is to really recognize that you already have some valuable skills that are transferable into tech. So don't be afraid to put yourself forward. And if you're afraid, do it afraid. Put yourself forward as much as possible. Always do that. Like, that's important. So women generally tend to over-criticize. We tend to over-criticize ourselves and sort of play ourselves down. But really, even if you're afraid that you might not have enough for this, always put yourself forward. What's the worst that could happen? You could learn from that, and that would help you next time. So that's also really important.
I love that. If you're afraid, do it afraid. Yeah. That's my new motto. Awesome. Thanks, Toby. Judy.
Sure. Yeah, so I would say, first of all, there's no better time to be in tech than now. Because there's so much happening in tech, there's so much diversity you can get in tech, and the rewards are not as bad as the rewards are really, really good. And this is like one of the few industries where you're really, really appreciated for what the value that you bring, be it, technical, non-technical. It's about what you can deliver to the company. So, even as Kemi was explaining, from a non-technical background, and then you tend to, use the University of YouTube, to actually get your foot in there. This is you trying to bring in value into the industry. This is you trying to, show what you can do. So if you're more focused on what you can bring to the company as compared to what, the schools, and we all know, especially in Africa, most schools have not caught up with, what exactly is happening in the tech space. There's still, you have to do the 4 years, then you have to do some certifications here, you have to do a boot camp here, because the university 4 years didn't actually equip you with that skills. So I would say there's no better time to be in tech right now. And if you're getting in tech, and I think you should all get in tech, the fact that you're in this session means you're trying to get into tech one way or another. You should focus more on bringing value to the company. Just focus on what's happening, especially within where you are, or within your surrounding, or wherever you're targeting to go. See what the biggest gap is, and try to fill that as an individual. Because if you go and pitch that to a company, this no more applying for jobs. We all know that doesn't work anymore. People come to hackathons looking for talent. They go to marketplace freelance places looking for people with the talent. So if you're more you want to actually stand out, you gotta give them something they're looking for. So let's say, for instance, in my country, in Kenya, we have this product, that was used making so much money. It's, I think we might know it. It's called M-Pesa, and then it moved. It made headways everywhere as a payment platform. So it was so good that the company is trying to move it to Ethiopia. And I was like, if I was in Ethiopia, I'd start to understand how M-Pesa works, so that I'm at a better position, because I know this country, I know the technologies we are learning. So I want to integrate this product that seems to be making headways, and it will make headways. And it's built by Africans for Africans. And we are embracing those facts of using our own products. So don't be discouraged to build within your country, wondering who's going to use it. Trust me, the people will use it because you're solving a problem that you yourself are, facing. So there's no better time to be in tech. Bring value to, wherever you want to actually, go to, or where you want to work in. And, as I think I'm gonna just hit on this, the last Kemi mentioned, please don't focus on money so much. I've seen people looking for internship and they're like, I'm only gonna do an internship where they're paying me. And you're thinking, okay, so fine. They will pay you $150, and then what? Do you know how the economy is right now? For $150, you can't do much. But then you're so focused on that this company is gonna give you value, and you can top from that company to another company that's gonna pay you $1,000. So people tend to be focused on that. I'm looking for an internship that's paying, and not focus on what the value the company can bring to me as an intern, what I can do for them, what they can do for me. Yeah, thank you.
Wow, Judy, that's really, really powerful. Thank you. Sada, what are the one or two things that you really want people to remember, if nothing else, from this panel?
Sure. Thank you, Jackie. And I'm not sure if I'm run out of great things to say after all the great things basically Toby and Kemi and Judy have already said. So no, I mean, really great discussions, great panel, and great advices also to everyone, and great participation, and shout out to the audience. I mean, they're very engaged in the chat. So I definitely would like, to give them a round of applause also to all of them. What I really want to say to everyone today is, me first, starting with, as a senior manager of product management, I'm biased towards product management maybe, but great opportunities in tech are there, not just for you to build a career, but for you to build a person, and for you to build your character, and for you to really actually see how actually this world could give you as much that you give. One of my colleagues was now saying basically how you could really deliver a value to the companies and all. But once you get into tech, you'll find out that this tech will give you a lot as well. So it's really, I would say it's a great time and a great place to develop yourself, to develop your leadership, your communication skills, your technical skills, your analytic. You will find out that a lot of the skills that you're gaining from technology, you will apply them in your lifetime and your basically everyday problems and everyday situations in a very smart way. So again, if you are thinking, or you're still having like you're 60% doubting whether you want to get into technology, please do, because as I mentioned, it's a time and it's a place to build for your own character and your development as well. The other thing that I want to say is make sure you always have a vision. A lot of people talk about goals and objectives and stuff. I like also to call it, have a vision, and that vision, you will find basically some small milestones that you need to tweak here and there sometimes, and maybe a goal or two that you need to change, which are really actually the means to get to your vision. But the vision should be actually always there. And you as a person should be flexible enough to know how exactly or when to change the way and the mean to get to your vision. For example, we were just talking basically on how to switch from a career to another. If you are already basically in a traditional career, for example, and trying to get into tech, or if you are a designer and you want to get to cyber, whatever it is that you have really as actually a big goal that you are calling it a big goal now, right? Put it as a vision, and don't be too stuck in the mean of how to implement it. For example, if a bootcamp did not work for you, check with a mentor. If this mentor did not work with you, check with another mentor. If this did not work with you, try YouTube, try Evanston. A lot of options are now open today, and we're calling it actually the world of optionability right now. We're in an era where you have so many options open to you. Be open to start that, but don't be distracted. Be open to, yes, to try that, but don't be distracted that much. Keep the vision fixed. And this is why I said, keep the vision fixed, that actually you always have it in front of your eyes. but also in the same time, you're flexible enough to be able and to know and being smart on when to change the mean. You say, oh no, this is not working anymore. In order for me to type that, I need to start to try something else and try it. So that's another thing that you really need to basically focus on, which is make sure that you are having a vision in place and you are being flexible around it. The third and the last thing is be confident about yourself. You have what it takes. You have what it takes. You have what it takes. That's what I would like to say. It's really just about your own beliefs in yourself and the way that you develop and the way that you see yourself and the way that you imagine or picture yourself in 2 years from now and 5 years from now is what actually is going to matter. And it's actually what is going to take you to the next step that you would like to have. Best of luck for everyone. And if anyone would like to have actually any more questions about products management or tech, I'm more happy to have to receive those questions afterwards as well.
Oh, lovely. Thanks, Shada. So we've got time for about 2 questions. So I'm going to try and combine some of them and pick kind of the most common ones. And then we need to kind of answer them as quickly as possible. There are 2 questions here that are quite similar. Tulani Gina has asked, has said to Toby, so this is addressed to Toby, incredible journey on learning on the job. How did you develop the learning mindset and overcome the fear of the unknown and failure? And in addition to that, very similar question here from Chimdinma. I fear that my designs are never good enough. How do I overcome this? So confidence and fear again. So Toby, it's a tough one, but what advice would you give? Oh, you're on mute.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes, that's a tough one, but I think it links a bit back to what I said earlier, is recognizing where you are at this point in time, and also knowing that you don't become an expert like quite suddenly. Everybody you see doing things quite easily or having sort of perfect designs out there, it takes a while for them to get there. And I think it's important that you give yourself that space in order to sort of learn and do that. And so recognizing that is just trying to find, if you think your designs are not good enough, for example, like put it in front of someone, talk to another designer, see if you can actually, is that in your mind, or is there something actually that you can improve on, trying to identify what you need to improve on. But in the process of improving on that, like try to identify the actions that you need to take specifically, and try to do those often, try to deliberately practice them or find opportunities to practice them, but don't focus too much on immediate result or expecting it to be better immediately, but focus on that practice or building that habit. Essentially, I find it's quite important to sort of create the right habits for yourself and try not to be too focused on like the goal. I mean, it's important to have a goal mindset and to have that vision, but the things that you do every day are the things that sort of build up into the life that you have tomorrow or the skills that you have tomorrow. So trying to sort of deliberately practice as much as possible, but being within a community of people that you trust and you can sort of put things in front of, and they can share their own challenges too, will help you sort of understand that you are not alone in this learning journey. A lot of people are sort of trying to learn at the same time, and being within that community will be quite helpful. So I think it's a combination of understanding that it takes a while, surrounding yourself with people who are trying to learn or can give you good and critical feedback is also helpful, and sort of giving yourself time to sort of be able to sort of deliberately and consistently practice the skills that you need to sort of get to where you want to go.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, you know, from personal experience, sometimes you have to fake confidence. And you have to decide, so you have to decide who you want to be. And as Kemi said, you need to decide. That's the first step. A lot of people don't actually know what they want, and they don't decide. Once you've decided, just make sure that as you said earlier, Toby, every decision, every step that you take is taking you in that direction of your vision and of who you want to be. And if you need to fake some confidence, that's something that you need to do, because the alternative of just staying safe and staying where you are is not, is almost scarier than you know, taking those steps to put yourself out there a little bit. So yeah.
Yeah, and everybody starts from somewhere. When I think back to my first sort of set of designs or the first sort of website I built, it's like a bit embarrassing to sort of see just how bad it was. But it was a learning process, and I'm here today. So it does take a while, but as long as you're consistently improving, that helps.
Yeah. There's so many great questions, and we are going to try and answer them, you know, in the chat or in line as much as possible. But I know we're running very short on time. There've been a couple of questions around how people can involve tech into their daily job. So there was an accountant that asked, they're an accountant, how do they bring digital into their roles? Here, as a beginner, I'd want to add tech into my rice processing value chain, e.g. bring processes together, supplier, machineries and seedlings together. Where do I start from? You know, what's really critical is to understand what these exponential technologies are, what is driving a lot of the development that you see today. So that is artificial intelligence, blockchain, rapid process automation. You know, there are a couple of these exponential technologies that are really driving amazing digital transformations in industry. And it's really great to start there and understand what business challenges those technologies address, and then how you can apply those technologies to your industry. So for agriculture, for instance, and auditing, what they do now is they've taken drones, and instead of doing manual stock takes, they use drone technology to do those stock takes a lot quicker. They use, you know, they've got amazing cameras that can kind of scan over the orchards, count the fruits, do all of that kind of thing. So you need to understand, as Judy pointed to, what the business problem is that you want to solve, and then understand what the technologies are that could possibly solve those problems. But it is obviously a much larger discussion. So just to wrap up, I mean, I've taken some notes here of what I found incredibly important. Decide, that's the first thing. Decide, stop sitting on the fence, decide that you want to be in tech, and then put together a granular plan. You know, YouTube is your friend, learn as much as you can, upskill as much as you can. There are a lot of resources available for that. You need to develop a learning mindset and be curious. Technology is not purely technical. I'm not a technical person. I don't know how to code. I'm in sales and marketing, which is also, you know, still very lucrative. It's more on the business side, but there are a wealth of jobs and opportunities available on the business side of technology and digital organization. So you don't have to be a coder to start off with. Passion, follow your passion, don't follow the dollar bills. Very important. I'm not sure that took me like 40 years to learn, so I'm not sure we can expect people to get that straight out of the gate. Your network is really important. I call it my tribe. Find your tribe, the people that are interested in the things that you're interested in, that love, you know, that are maybe in the same roles as you, in the same industry. It's really important that you mix with those communities. Find a role model and mentor. I know there was a question around how to find a mentor. We may have time to answer that, I'm not sure. And priority management, critical. So thanks so much to the panelists. I really appreciate your time. This was probably the most interesting discussion I've had all year. So thank you for that. And thanks so much to Tech4Dev for the opportunity. It's really been great. The audience has been phenomenal. I mean, I think we've still got 66 attendees. So yeah, I think everyone's been really kind of tuned in and engaged. So thanks so much. Thanks, Joy.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jackie. Thank you, Toby, Cam, Chad, and Judy. You all did a great job. Like, the nuggets have so much, like I've been penning them down. And one of the things I think I would learn and I'll even take into the next year is to fake it till I make it. I also want to be a woman in tech too. Like, well, I'm a woman in tech because I manage tech programs, but I want to like be like, you know, develop my tech skills. I need to start honing them. And one of the things we tell our program beneficiaries is that through our fellows and our boosters, we tell them to put in the track they're learning, like put it on their LinkedIn profile. So for instance, they're learning product design, we tell them to put it like Women Techsters Product Design Fellow, right? So that they will start answering that until they become it. It's going to encourage them on their journey. So thank you very much to our panelists. You guys have done a great job. Okay, so to take us further into the event, we're not done yet. We'll still talk about the Women Techsters program activities. We'll be watching a video. So I'm going to be playing that video right away about, so I'm going to be sharing a video. It's coming up. So this video is about a testimonial video about one of our program beneficiaries. Great. So we'll watch this video, then I'll play another video, then talk to you about our Women Techsters programs. Thank you.
My name is Fatima Ahmed. I'm from Ilorin, Kwara State. I studied chemistry from the University of Ilorin, but now I'm a woman in tech. Getting a job in Nigeria is very difficult. After my National Youth Service program, I was at home for like 5 to 6 months, writing CVs, applying for jobs, and the highest I got was callbacks, which was very frustrating. I was talking to a friend about the difficulties of getting a job in Nigeria, and he was telling me about the opportunities in tech. Coincidentally, at that time, another friend of mine was telling me about how she went to the Nigerian Women Techsters program, where she learned how to code and build websites. Seeing what she could do, I was motivated to apply for the Nigerian Women Techsters program. The training was for 12 weeks. I learned technical skills, building websites, writing codes. I also learned soft skills, communicating effectively, working in teams. It made me more effective in what I do today. Coming for the training, I just felt that, okay, I'll just learn some new skills, then have to go back home to apply for other jobs. But during the training, I started getting a lot of job opportunities. And here I am today. I have a good job, and I am glad I took the bold step to come for the Nigerian Women Techsters training. I currently work as a technical support engineer at Tech Experts, where I provide cloud-based solutions. I want to use this opportunity to encourage other young women out there who are looking for jobs to empower themselves with tech skills and take advantage of opportunities like this.
With partners like Microsoft, we've been able to train over 2,475 women in coding and deep tech skills across 12 states in Nigeria. And all this training was done for free. Over the next 10 years, we will train 5 million women across Africa by 2030. And we're looking for partners who could join us on this journey. There's an African proverb that says that when you train a woman, you train a nation. When you train a woman has the ability to provide some sort of like 3x on ROI or whatever training it is that they give to a woman. If the training is meant to provide some sort of financial freedom, for example, for the woman, which is the case of the Women Techsters, we believe that women are able to then provide for their families, which then immediately also allows for the family's income generation to impact that of their immediate community or impact that of the nation. The problem we're trying to solve when we initiated Women Techsters program is being able to bring women to partake within the opportunities that exist within the technology ecosystem and actually finding a balance, which is having more women join the ecosystem to be able to both partake of the opportunities and also be able to contribute to the industry.
By 2030, we want 5 million women to be empowered with technical skills and use their skills to either start up their tech-enabled businesses, further their career in the tech space, or establish their own tech startups and tech-enabled businesses.
Microsoft has been an amazing and fantastic partner. Just beyond supporting us with funds, has actually gone into supporting us, like giving us technical support, like donating Azure to us, donating licenses to us, and supporting us with other forms of software and hardware to ensure that we're able to deliver effectively on whatever program it is we're partnering on.
Today is the Meet and Greet event that is holding in Lagos State. The Meet and Greet event is organized for our Women Techsters program beneficiaries to be able to have a physical connect. Because of the COVID-19, we're not able to have a physical meet-up. So most of our training has been carried out virtually, and we have women connecting online.
Community building is very important to the Women Techsters initiative. It's a community that allows women to grow, women who haven't ever been in the tech space, to grow, encourage themselves, and just keep on pushing themselves to succeed.
If I were to describe my experience in the Women Techsters program, awesome.
I would say it was phenomenal.
For me, it's inspiring,
mind-blowing.
My experience at the Meet and Greet has been so beautiful. It was so nice to say, Amaka, you are Favor, you are Afsat.
So it's been really awesome how that those you related with virtually, you're now able to put a face to the name. I've tried many things. I've tried to go for other classes and they just didn't work out. It looked impossible. At a point, I just felt, maybe this is not for me. Tech for the Women Techsters, Microsoft gave me the opportunity to see that it is for me. And it's a big thank you from this end.
I'm so grateful there is a platform like this that other women can join and scale up in tech.
I doing so much to see that women become better versions of themselves and go out there and explore tech.
I thank Microsoft for their open hands, for believing so much in the girl child. I think the best way to appreciate these two wonderful organizations is by not stopping here.
To any young woman out there who is trying to get into the tech space, I would say, believe in yourself. You can actually do it. Tech is not as difficult as people think it is. There are tons of career paths within technology that even have nothing to do with you writing a line of code. I mean, for example, there's product design, there's product management, there's data analysis, and amongst others. So I would say to every woman, believe in yourself. Whatever you think you can achieve, you can do it.
Okay. So those two videos, I believe they must have, gotten you motivated. And just to cap it all up, like we've said a lot of things, we've had our panelists, speak about their experiences. And then, we've now showed you videos of past beneficiaries. The first video you saw was of Fatima Ahmed. She was Women Techsters, Nigeria Women Techsters program beneficiary, our first program before we went to other countries. And now we are not just in Nigeria, we're in Ghana, we're in South Africa, we're in Kenya, we're in Egypt. And that's why we have women from these countries representing us. And next year, we'll be going into more countries and give opportunities to more women until we get to 5 million by 2030. Hi, Jackie. Thank you, thanks. Okay, yeah, so let's talk about the Women Techsters program. I saw some questions asking about how can I be a part of these? How do I learn? Where do I start from? These are our programs, but it's not limited to the Women Techsters program. There are other opportunities out there you could also leverage. But yeah, you can also start from the Women Techsters program. And we have 4 programs. One is the the Open Day event, which is monthly. We hold Open Days to create awareness for women about the opportunities in tech. We have beautiful women, come together to share their stories and tell you what it is that you could do, to start off or to further your career in tech. We held master classes too every month, and I think I saw that Toby, I think it's Toby, I'm not sure, one of the bios I read, yes, that teaches product management. Great. And then we'll have women like her, come and facilitate a masterclass session to introduce you into a particular learning track. Not really it's for women that have entry-level job roles or already have a background in this track and are looking to just gain more specific skill set, like a topic, and get trained on that topic. Yeah. So for instance, we had a product design masterclass on Adobe XD, and several masterclasses like that have been held this year. And it's focused on women that already have existing career and passion in their particular track. So the Open Days for those that, are still trying to make up their mind, make a decision. What do I do? What career path do I follow? How do I proceed? Then the masterclass are women that already, have jobs or have already acquired this technical background and want to build upon it. Then our boot camps are 2 weeks programs, the intensive training. And I believe we have some boosters in the house right now that takes you from beginner, from a novice to an intermediate level techie. You get to learn, the nitty-gritties. And after the 2 weeks, you'll be able to work on a group project, and have your first portfolio. With that, you can either jumpstart your career, even start, we've had people, testimonies of someone that's gone through our bootcamp program, and she started up her tech company over time. I know it's not immediately, but with time, you can build on what you get from the bootcamp and, develop your career from there. Then we have our fellowship program. Our fellowship is a year-long program. It comprises of 4 months of training, 6 months of internship, and 2 months of mentorship. So currently, a bootcamp is rounding up our cohort. 4 bootcamp we've had 4 cohorts this year, and is rounding up. We'll have a demo day for them next week. Cohort 3 is also having a demo next week. We also have a masterclass coming up in January for product management. So if you are interested in product management or you have a background, look out for that. To gain all this information on our programs, please follow us on social media for the information on these programs. And then the fellowship for next year, we'll also be posting about it online. We're still trying to finalize plans for the next year program, and we'll be going into more countries, opening the program to more women and from other countries. And the learning tracks we focus on are product design, cybersecurity, software development, data science and artificial intelligence, and product management. So there are 5 learning tracks. And if you notice, we invited women from across this field, to come share their stories. So it's strategic. So you get inspired, you go through you attend the Open Day events, you get inspired, you make a decision after that. You then, thank you, Jackie. You then decide, you then go into the bootcamp and, learn for 2 weeks and enroll into the masterclass, periodic masterclass, pertains to your learning track, and then go into the fellowship for 1 year. And after that, you're good to go. So the bootcamp for cohort 5 is going to hold in January. I'm going to call my colleague. I don't want to be sure she's on the call, Chigozie. If you're on the call, please raise your hand so that I could, make you, so when Chigozie comes on the call, as soon as I see her hand raised, I'm going to make a presentation. She's going to talk about, give further announcements about our programs. But as she does, as we wait for her to join, I'm going to just quickly drop the links to our social media handles. So you could just follow us on social media. And for this video, the Open Day videos are going to be uploaded. We upload them on our YouTube channel. We'll also send you the YouTube link, so you could just watch the past Open Day events. I'm telling you, every single session has been very inspiring. Back to back, we've had wonderful speakers, and I'm so grateful for that. Our speakers have been very inspiring.
Joy.
Okay, I didn't get that.
This one's been the best though, right?
Oh, I was doing the best way. Yes, this has been actually been the best. So yeah, the 10th Open Day is actually very fun. Yeah, Florence, hi. I see you. I see my product managers in the house. Okay, yeah. So let's quickly drop this. I'll drop the link to our social media handles. Thank you, Jackie. Jackie, you're such a wonderful host. I must do this. I must say this on the call. Like you did well. Thank you. Great. Okay, so to follow us on Facebook, I just dropped the link to our Facebook. Please check us out. We have a lot of content for you. We have a brewing community of, of women following us and, getting impacted by our programs. Dropping the link to our Instagram handle. Please click on that link and follow us on Instagram. Then this is the YouTube channel I spoke about earlier. Yeah. So that's the YouTube channel. Please go there and watch our videos, and just chill rather than always going to Netflix to chill and vibe. Go on YouTube and watch and hear from women. And do you know one thing about this? I saw so many questions about how do I get a mentor? How do I get mentored? This is mentorship. Mentorship mustn't be like a one-on-one thing. Attending events is to really do you well. And for the fact that you've attended this event, I know that you're getting mentored for free, because I know some of these women, Chada, Kemi, Jackie, Judy, to get them is really, really, you have to keep on following them up online and all that. And it may not be available to attend to you at that point, but having to come to programs, and then getting to meet them in person. If I were you, I wouldn't stop here. I'll follow them on social media. And please, I'm asking our panelists to drop the links to their social media handles. Whatever platform you want to be reached, just drop it on the chat so that they could, they could reach out to you afterwards. You could send them a message on social media and they will attend to you. Nancy says Kemi is a very busy woman. They are all busy women. I think the most busy of them all is Chada, who travels to over 30 countries. Yeah. So please follow them on social media, Chada. I know she's coming for me.
Exactly, Joy. I was just gonna say I will have to drop in 2 minutes.
We're gonna end the meeting in 2 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. No issues. Thank you.
In 2 minutes we drop it. So thank you, ladies. Thank you for staying on the call. Special shout out to our participants that have been on the call from the beginning till now. Thank you very much for staying through to this and for attending our Open Day event. And to everyone that has ever attended a Women Techsters Open Day event, thank you. We'll do this again in January, and it promises to be more and more fun, and look forward to getting to see you join our programs. Thank you. Thanks, Jackie. Thanks, Judy. Thanks, Chada. Thanks, Kemi.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies. This is the most important work.
Thanks, Deborah. Yeah, round of applause for Deborah.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye. Take care.
Everyone.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Great.